So far, so good for number 26 in gray. Second major league start. 1-2. Strike three called. He got him looking. He froze him at 96 on the outside corner. Strikeout number 7 for Nolan McLean, and there's 2 away. 2-2 pitch swung on and hit the opposite way. Pretty deep, slicing towards the corner and left. It is gone. An opposite field 2-run home run for Juan Soto. The Mets tack on 2 more. Number 32 for Soto. It is a 9-2 Mets lead in the 7th inning.
Apparently Rusty deciding he's going to take every opportunity to highlight a Met win since they're so rare these days. Hi, everyone. It's the Adam Gold Show. Welcome to week 1 of college football. That was a highlight of what? Nolan McLean. It's making up a guy. Nolan McLean, who is a Garner High School grad, who I guess is now 2-0 as a Mets starting pitcher. Isn't that exciting? Hi. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the week. Welcome to the college football season. Max Garn along for the ride. Why did I call you Dorn? Maybe because I was just, staring at NC State stuff.
Yeah, you're just ready for college football. I mean, it's here. It started.
That's right. It did this weekend. Yes. Why do we call it week 0? Just stay like it's all part of week 1.
I guess that's just because it's not the same week. I guess they don't want to call it week 1.
Then just call it week 1.
It's such a uniquely college football thing that there's a week called week 0.
College football. Gosh, bless it. I'm glad it's back because so many people that I like love college football above everything else. It is at times awesome, at times awful, but almost always delightfully weird. That is college football in a nutshell. You get strange. Apparently, the kid, whatever, that kicked the game-winning field goal for Hawaii is somebody that essentially had never played the sport but taught himself how to kick, convinced the school to give him a scholarship or to at least bring him to their campus, and now has ended up at Hawaii. Hawaii beat Stanford, right? On a last-second kick. So the ACC already 0-1.
Yeah, ACC, rough shape to start here.
An embarrassing start for the Atlantic Coast Conference. We're going to talk all about that. We did have, of course, Tommy Fleetwood won his first ever PGA Tour event. That is super exciting. And I will just ask you, by the way, before I tease you, Max, the Canes Corner podcast with Rod Brindamore drops today at 7 o'clock, I believe. So if you are a Canes Corner podcast viewer or listener, either way, 7 o'clock tonight, the episode goes live on YouTube, and it also drops in your normal podcast feed, wherever you get your podcast. So it should be fun. I did, we spent the first half of it is current stuff, the team. We even talk about number 2 center. Oh, boy. They got into the weeds. And then we just kind of veered off into other topics. I asked them about college, paying college athletes. Not a fan. Anyway, we have a lot of stuff to get to there. We might highlight a couple of things from that. So the Rodcast is about to drop. So go check that out. Whether you want to subscribe to it on YouTube, I would encourage you to do so you don't have to ask me what time it's going to drop. You will be alerted to that. So you can go to YouTube, search Canes Corner Podcast. There you go. You could also go to YouTube and search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan and watch this episode. Today, me and Max talking about stuff. And I want you to do that. I know you were sort of locked into Tommy's first win.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the whole the whole round to like the last 3 holes. When even
It
to me,
didn't matter.
Even to me, it became apparent that he couldn't possibly lose at that point.
Well, because nobody else wanted to really push him, right? When, I kid you not, when he took out a 5-iron on the par 3 15th, after 2 holes prior, I believe, hitting a 7-iron from the exact same distance, I thought, this is too much club. We could be looking at a disaster here. As it turned out, he made bogey. He did go long, but nobody else did anything. Nobody got any closer than, I think at that point it was 2, but then it went back up to 3 or 4. Yes, he was essentially cruising down the highway to his first ever PGA Tour win. So that was fun. It's good to see him get that done. Good to see the relief in his face. So there's that. And before we start, Max and I share an appreciation for the Premier League. I can watch just about any soccer. What happens, City? It's not a good backup to the win at Wolves.
They for whatever reason, it doesn't even matter whether Tottenham is competing for Europe, if they're in the bottom quarter of the table, it doesn't matter. City cannot beat them. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if just the seeing that logo on the other side just off puts them or something, but they cannot beat Tottenham. I'm slightly concerned. Hopefully, again, it is just a matchup thing and they'll be able to bounce back against literally anybody else. But just whenever they play Tottenham, and I've learned well ahead of time, like I was not super confident heading into that game, but I was expecting them at least to score. To be shut out like that, and in the fashion that they did, the way that they looked, it was brutal.
Yeah, it was not vintage. But I don't think this team is vintage. I think they're in transition. It'll take some time to sort of all the new pieces to kind of get them going in the right direction. They're talented, but we judge City squads based on what we saw 2, 3, 4 years ago, and there's nothing that will compare to those teams.
They can. They won't reach the heights of the team that won the treble a few years ago, but they're definitely still a competitive squad. It's just you can't be like performances like that. I mean, every team has a bad performance here or there. As long as it's not a regular thing, if we see more of the team we saw in the first week when they won 4-0, then it won't be as concerning. But I'll definitely be watching real closely in the next match to see if they're what we're really looking for.
No gloom. They're definitely top 4 in the Prem. Shall we go? Yeah, we should go. Let's get it started in here. All right. Week 1, let's do it. We get the debut of Bill Belichick in Week 1, and although I don't personally have details, we'll call it Hulu Knocks. It is the I guess it's a weekly doc on UNC football that will air on Hulu. I know the university has put out YouTube videos behind the scenes of ACC football kickoff and some practice video, and none of it is enthralling other than if you're a fan, it's very cool to see just behind the scenes stuff. So, but the Hulu Knocks will be very interesting to watch. They don't play until Monday night. Of course, just so I can let people know, Monday, Labor Day, like Sunday, we won't be here, so we'll have to get our full preview of that game in throughout this week. We will not be able to carry it over until Monday, but we'll talk about it. Matter of fact, tomorrow, Adam Smith from Inside Carolina will join us, and we'll get to all of that. Thursday night, however, the rematch that NC State must win. Like, no joke. East Carolina has the greatest free swing in recent memory. You just came off a bowl game win, and bowl games are always somewhat strange. And I'm not giving NC State a pass for losing the bowl game to East Carolina. Not at all. But it's always very easy to explain away if you are the losing team. Remember all those SEC losses in bowl games that don't really matter? How when the SEC loses a bowl game, or even when they lost like a BCS game, they would go, well, we weren't motivated. I get it. I mean, it's probably true, to be honest. But everybody's going to be motivated in week one. And if you're NC State, there's no alternative. You got to win the game. And it's an interesting position because it isn't really just about the fact that you don't want to lose to East Carolina. It's that East Carolina probably isn't vintage ECU. And, I mean, let's be fair. I don't know if it's vintage State either. But at Carter Finley, it's just a game that the Wolfpack have to win. And, of course, they're in Charlotte at the ACC offices. They're looking at this game going, don't do this now, NC State. Let's start with Dave Doran and Carolina. The Wolfpack, especially under Doran, have had, we'll just say it this way, they have had difficulty maxing out on their regular season record. It's rare. I would actually argue the only year that they might have exceeded expectations in terms of wins and losses was the pandemic year, right? That was the year they didn't leave games that they should have won in the loss column. And it really speaks to winning the close ones for Dave Doran.
It's been a huge part of our training camp, spring ball, putting them in the situations, and we do it every day. We call it situation of the day, where you're in the last 13 seconds, 18 seconds, 22 seconds, 45, 48, different field positions. Need a field goal to win, need a field goal to tie, need a touchdown to win, need a touchdown and 2-point conversion to win, getting into 4-minute offense, and how do we run the clock out? How do we stop them so they can't run the clock out? And so situational football has been massively talked about and overemphasized with this team. And I feel great about where we're at. Obviously, you got to go do it under the lights now, but the training has been excellent. And the guys have really done a good job, staff-wise, too, of presentations on these things. And not just from a college standpoint, but bringing up clips from NFL Super Bowl games and watching drives. And so, you do as much as you can to get them ready, and then you trust them to go out there and make the plays. And that's what it comes down to now. It's the guys going out there and being the best that they can be.
And for the most part, while it's a crowded Thursday schedule, this is one of the best games on Thursday night, and it's the third year in a row that Dave Doran has opened on a Thursday night.
I'm a big fan of it. Anytime you can create additional space in the schedule for what's next, it helps. And so opening on a Thursday obviously gives you more recovery and lead time to game 2, regardless of who that is. And for the fans, I think, Thursday night, as you guys know, is pretty electric in Carter Finley. So getting that to be a weekday game makes it a night game. And so that helps also for a variety of reasons. But and then it's always a holiday weekend, and I think it helps our fans to be able to have their Labor Day weekend, where they can go do the things they would do, with their families. And so there's a lot that goes into that. But, being selfish as a coach, it's always, for me, I love having that Friday, Saturday extra, to heal up and get these guys refocused on game 2.
Interesting. Here's what I like. I love it. He's right, though. You get your weekend, right? You have the game on Thursday, but you still haven't disrupted a Labor Day weekend. And, a lot of families, that's the last hurrah of the summer, even though we're back to school in most state schools today in terms of high schools or elementary schools. K through 6, the regular public schools, that's what it's called, are generally back today. I mean, my son goes to a charter. This is the start of week 4. Not even kidding. They went back the first Monday in August, which is frankly insane. Anyway, but the public schools are all back, so it does feel like now is the time to get all this done. But it reminded me of why I used to love working the morning shift. And I used to work from the show I produced was from 5 to 9. And when the show was over and I did everything I needed to do for the next day, and I was out by 11, that was like having every day off. This is having an open week before week 2, and week 2 is not, the most difficult game for, I guess it's Virginia, is the next one, right? But you get an extra 3 days to prepare for that game. It's almost like having a bye week before you play a team that can beat you.
Yeah, but then right after that, it's another Thursday game. I don't know if we'll be as happy about that. It's not as much extra time when you have the Saturday to Thursday turnaturnaround for week 3.
But the week 3 turnaround, I want to get the game. It's at Wake Forest.
It's at Wake.
Oh, wait a second. I forgot. Wake Forest, House of Horrors. So, yeah, I guess you pay the price for that. But it would be great. Remember when Virginia Tech used to own Thursday nights? For not just, they weren't even in the ACC at the time, but they used to own Thursday nights. It would be great to establish that Thursday night is NC State's winning time. I guess East Carolina was also part of that. We'll talk about that game throughout the week. Also, it is the start of the final season of Tony Haynes on the Wolfpack sidelines, and he will join us in hour number 2. Looking forward to talking with Tony. One more thing about this for the Wolfpack, because it is ECU, even though Dave Doran likes to deny that it's a rivalry.
Well, it feels different because of how we acted at the end of the season. To me, we didn't live up to the privilege we have to be at this university, to work at this university. And it starts with me. I said that after the game. And so it's an opportunity to go play. And it is about who we're playing, obviously, because you have to know their personnel and their coaches and their schemes. It's always going to be about who you're playing. This is way more about how we play and how we carry the torch for this university and the reputation we want to have as a program. And so I do think that makes it different. We have played them back-to-back before, that was written about. I read one of the articles. So it's not new to play someone back-to-back. We've done that, but it's more about us than anything.
Yeah, it's going to be how many times are we going to see the video of what happened at the end of the bowl game? We're going to see it a ton. And I appreciate Dave Doran not trying to shift blame. That's, to me, a class act. Real quick, before I move on to something else, Taiwan, Chinese Taipei, won the Little League World Series. First time since, I believe, 96 that they had won. And they basically had won almost all of them for about 30 years. This is sort of like, I'll put it in this context. Go back to the beginning of NCAA women's soccer, where UNC won all of the national championships. This would be as though they went 30 years without winning and then won. It's been a minute, but congratulations to Chinese Taipei for, we can call them Taiwan. Probably doesn't hurt us. All right. Terry McLaurin signed his contract, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. 3-year deal, $96 million. I have no idea what the guarantee is. I think it makes him the 3rd highest paid wide receiver. You know how we like to make fun of Jerry Jones for dragging his feet and not paying his star players, because the longer you wait, the more it costs. And I think somebody did a study of how much money Jerry Jones has wasted or thrown away because he's waited on big-time contracts, whether it's Dak Prescott twice, CeeDee Lamb. I don't even know if Micah Parsons was figured into this equation, but it was like just short of $100 million where he cost his own franchise by waiting. We have no idea why he's waiting. We talked about this on Friday. There is zero chance that he actually offered to make Terry McLaurin the highest paid non-quarterback in the sport, at least in terms of a guarantee. And it was flat out rejected. No chance that happened. Because that number is massive, and B, the agent would not have reacted the way it was rumored that it reacted with like a compound expletive deleted. No way. Regardless. At the beginning of the offseason, it was at the beginning of the offseason, Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Detroit Lions, wide receiver, signed a contract that made him the highest paid wide receiver in football. He is now 8th. Every time another star wide receiver signs a contract, everybody else's price tag goes up. So how many great non-quarterbacks, defensive players, have continued to reset the bar over which to get if you want to sign, theoretically, either the best defensive player in the game or one of them? And that has happened a few times, and Micah Parsons still hasn't signed his contract. So if Jerry had just signed him last offseason when he could have, how much money would he have saved? A lot. That's pretty vague, but still a lot. All right, we're going to break here. Will Brinson will join us on the other side. We'll talk Terry McLaurin and more. Panthers still have not yet trimmed to 53, correct? It's got to be done by tomorrow, I believe. You got to get all the way down to 53. We'll talk about the possibility that Adam Thielen could be traded. Ooh. Will Brinson joins us next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the preseason, so me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, are back in the trenches with our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp rolls forward. Insight on the rookies, the fresh free agents and surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube. Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The aftermath of Hurricane Helene left many in western North Carolina feeling lost, their homes damaged or destroyed, and their lives upended. But there's good news. The new Division of Community Revitalization is here to help with the Renew NC Single Family Housing Program. The Renew NC Single Family Housing Program offers home rehabilitation reconstruction, and mobile home replacement options for eligible families with homes damaged by Hurricane Helene. If your home was damaged, you may qualify for recovery assistance. Don't wait. Call 888-791-0207 or visit renewNC.org to apply now. That's 888-791-0207. Renew NC. Rebuilding homes, restoring hope.
Sponsored by Patriot Relief Inc. and NC Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with the station.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. No application fee if you apply by September 3rd. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term is.
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the 1s and 2s today. Victoria on assignment. So we're going to revamp with Will Brinson. We're going to bring him back tomorrow. He's going through airport security somewhere. I don't know. He's probably being detained by TSA. Tony Haynes next hour. And we'll talk NC State, East Carolina, with the sideline analyst, not sideline reporter. He is a sideline analyst, color commentator, essentially, with NC State football, and we'll talk to him next hour about ECU, NC State. All right. The Panthers have not yet announced their cut down to 53 players. But something interesting before Thursday night's game, when Bryson Tremaine, the wide receiver who I guess the Panthers brought in as a off-season free agent, it looks like he's going to make the team because he was a no-show for the final game. And normally, if you're not on the team and you are pulled from the roster, I mean, they just cut you at that point. But when Dave Canellis was asked, does he have a good chance to make the roster? He goes, pretty good chance, yeah. Now he's big. He's over 200 pounds. So he actually sort of looks like a tight end, to be perfectly honest, a pass-catching tight end. A light one, but that's what he kind of looks like. And when you look at the Panthers roster and you go, could they keep 7 wide receivers? The thought was that would leave a spot open for David Moore. But it might actually not. They could still release. I don't even know what the technical term would be for David Moore. I think it would be release because he doesn't have to be waived. He's not subject to waivers. So I think he would just be outright released. You could release David Moore and still keep 7 wide receivers on the roster. And Dave Canales talked about the fact that Tremaine was really good on special teams. And that's where some of these guys have to play. Jalen Coker played special teams. I guess it was Thursday night, I believe, in the game against the Steelers. So we're going to see, a lot of the players who aren't necessarily starters or will feature in big ways. We'll see a lot of them play on special teams, and that's the nature of the beast in the NFL. I have 2 general concerns, and we'll get to those in a second, about the way the Panthers will set up, at least initially, on offense. But over the weekend, the continued conversations were ongoing about the potential of trading Adam Thielen to Minnesota. I have 2 thoughts about this, and I guess it might just be one thought in terms of because they're so connected. And I do believe that Adam Thielen matters a lot to Bryce Young. We could debate whether or not he should, but I just think that with Tetero and McMillan being a rookie, Xavier Legette being a second-year player who still has not even come close to establishing himself in the NFL, Thielen is, to me, that safe, reliable receiver that more often than not, in critical situations, Bryce Young will look to. And this is the way I have always talked about Thielen. He acts as the pass-catching tight end that the Panthers haven't had since Greg Olsen. And I get, with as talented as the Panthers wide receiving group is, that they shouldn't necessarily need Adam Thielen, except I think they do. And I think Bryce does. And here's the other element for me, which is why I would not trade Adam Thielen, no matter how much Minnesota wants him back. You're not going to get anything of significance for Adam Thielen, so the only reason to trade Thielen to Minnesota would be to do Minnesota a solid. Not sure why you need to. In the same conference. Wouldn't it suck to lose out a playoff spot? Let's dream for a second. Lose out a playoff spot to Minnesota because you gave them Adam Thielen, who might have helped them win a game that they needed to win to edge you out by a game or a tiebreaker.
But what if some of the draft picks or whatever assets they traded back to you help you out in the future?
So, let me ask you what you think you would get for Adam Thielen.
Well, it depends how badly they want him, right? They're kind of hurting for receivers. So, if you could somehow maybe get like a day 2 pick out of it, I wouldn't be saying no to that necessarily.
The chance of getting a day 2 pick for a 30-year-old wide receiver.
35 as of last week.
Who, when they are healthy, will basically be, down the depth chart. I think you're 0. You are more than likely looking at back half of the day 3. If you were just getting a pick, if you were just getting a 6th, right? Is it really worth that? Or, once we get past the 5th round, my opinion, there's almost no difference between a 6th round, 7th round, or undrafted free agent. Almost no difference. That is only beauty in the eye of the beholder at that point. So, you're not going to get anything. At best, you might be able to get a swap where, all right, you give us a 5th, we'll give you a 6th. Or you give us a 4th, we'll give you a 5th. So you're not really improving your lot all that much. for that reason, with no return. Now, if Minnesota's so desperate that they want to give you something better than that, then you take advantage of it. But most teams, even though the Vikings are an organization that did miss their first-round pick once, time ran out, and they ended up shuffling back one spot. You don't forfeit it. You're back on the clock after the other team jumps up and takes maybe the pick you wanted. Anyway, to me, you're not going to get anything of significance for Adam Thielen to make it really worth your while. And even if Thielen drops to the fourth wide receiver on your roster, if Coker is elevated, I do think that the beginning of the season, it makes way more sense to have Adam Thielen in your wide receiver room than it does to not have him there.
It's nice to know that you have that safety blanket for Bryce and someone that he is so familiar with.
Yep.
But, it's been this debate the whole preseason about, how tight the roster is and which wide receivers are going to make it. It would make that decision a lot easier if you're able to move him off for an asset coming back. But at the same time, again, you're getting rid of that familiar safety blanket for Bryce. But at the same time, are you saying, he's grown to the level that he doesn't need that anymore because there are other receivers and other weapons?
Because we don't have another, I know exactly where he is going to be at all time. We don't have any of those.
Right, because the best receiver will probably be a rookie this year, and we don't know what to really expect from McMillan yet.
That's why you need to see that in action. And it wasn't like we saw 4 series in the preseason where Bryce Young and Tedero and McMillan were just a well-oiled machine. There were drops. We saw uncharacteristic, we think, of McMillan dropping the ball. Like, hopefully, because he came in with a reputation as somebody, well, he's never going to drop passes. But we have already seen that. And sometimes it takes guys a while. So, for my money, Adam Thielen is a necessary piece. There's a second prong of this. What did I describe Adam Thielen as? He acts as the pass-catching tight end that every quarterback wants. Who are the tight ends on this team again? We have yet to see Jatavian Sanders look like the reliable pass-catching tight end. We know there's a high end there, but we have not yet seen consistent performance health, right? We haven't really seen him that much in the preseason, I guess, but we haven't seen the consistent performance from Sanders to alleviate any worries that position is taken care of. Tommy Tremble ain't it. He's good enough to be in the league. He's good enough to play a little bit, but he ain't good enough to, command the middle of the field and catch 50 balls. I don't think the Panthers have that guy. And again, it makes it more important to keep Thielen around until the receiving core grows enough. That's my my spiel on the Carolina Panthers. I have those 2 questions. Why would you trade? Because trade Adam Thielen away, A, to help a conference rival, and B, I just don't think there's enough of a return to do it. The only reason is if Adam Thielen comes to you and says, I'd like to go back. In which case, he has meant so much, I would honor those wishes.
Yeah. And also, maybe they really like someone like a Tremaine, or they want a bigger role for someone like Jimmy Horn.
No, it's Jalen Coker.
And Coker, obviously, Coker, I think he was already going to be a pretty sizable part of the offense, though, just based on what he's shown last year, flashes in the preseason this year. It's clear that they really like him as well. But just, again, it's some more opportunity for other guys that you want to see on the field. Now, again, he's coming at the expense of your most veteran player and the most veteran wide receiver in the entire NFL.
Yeah, I was going to say, what did Thielen catch last year? But let's just say, what would you project Adam Thielen to catch in terms of number of passes this year? Was the number 45? Right? Let's be super conservative here. Could have been more, right? But if you say 45 balls that Adam Thielen was going to catch, in the neighborhood of between 2 and 3 per game, well, those go now, or targets, right? 65 targets, 70 targets. Well, those go now to somebody else. Those go to Jalen Coker. Maybe it goes to a Bryson Tremaine. Maybe they go to a Hunter Renfrow, who is looking a lot closer to the Hunter Renfrow of old. He's not going to be that guy ever again anyway, but he's looking closer to it. So you have other guys that could step into that role. So it will elevate Coker, potentially Renfrow, and others. And that's okay, right? But what am I bringing in? To me, it would be if Adam Thielen comes to you and says, I really like to go home because Minnesota's home and they need me and I would like to help them out. In which case, you do your 5th for the 6th or 6th for a 5th, and, maybe you get 2 very late draft picks for it. But, man, you're certainly not getting a day 2.
Yeah.
Getting a day 2 for Adam Thielen.
I was wishful. But, again, they're
It's
pretty...
like a fantasy draft.
They're pretty desperate for a receiver. So, I don't know how much, and plus they might have those hometown goggles on. They really want to get it done. You never know.
It's after 2.
I've trust Dan Morgan to get to the negotiating table and get some extra value there.
So you're the guy in the fantasy league that offers me
I'll give you Nick Chubb for Saquon.
7 mediocre players for 1 superstar. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
When it comes to fantasy football, I'm actually a very, very realistic trader. I don't have time for the people who are wasting time with fantasy trades. If it's not realistic, don't even waste my time.
So funny. That's Max Gorn. I'm Adam Gold. We have one-timers. Your opportunity, by the way, if you go to YouTube and search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan, and you watch the show, there's a little chat box there. Type questions in there. But Max has questions for me in one-timers next.
From the heels,
Touchdown, Carolina!
to the canes,
She scores!
he covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's families at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You know what tomorrow is, right? Yeah, I know. It's Tuesday, but it's better than Tuesday. It's FanDuel Futures Day. That's right. 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. You may like somebody to win the MVP, have at it, win a division, but let's go for all of it. Let's go for broke. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Cowboys fans, your odds are worse than the Cardinals and the Bears. That tells you the state of your franchise. Sorry about that. Plus 4,500 if you are interested. So mark your calendars for tomorrow. You shouldn't need to do that, but it's tomorrow. FanDuel Futures Day. Go to the app and have at it. FanDuel. Play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorn on the ones and twos today. I had 2 Men at Work albums as a kid. Actually, they were just on cassette as a kid. I did. I had them. I don't even know what Vegemite is.
I mean, I've never had it personally,
No.
but from what I hear, it's an Australian staple.
Yes, it is. Apparently. All right, we got a lot to do. Next hour, Tony Haynes from NC State's radio broadcast. He is entering his final season. He announced his retirement in advance. Look forward to talking with him about the Wolfpack and also, what's he going to do? I mean, Tony Haynes has been on the radio, since before I moved to town. So, looking forward to chatting with him. All right, when we last left, we were about to do one-timers.
All right, loaded weekend of sports this past weekend. We got just so much going on, but the big attraction, at least if you ask me anyway, was college football, week 0, the return to the gridiron. What, if anything, did we learn from week 0 of college football?
Well, Kansas State's out of it. They lost their opener. No, wait a second, I forgot. Because you have thousands of teams that are still in it. You could lose twice and still be in the college football playoff. And of course, they could always finish first or second in the Big 12 and win their league and get an automatic spot. It wouldn't give you necessarily a bye because we've gotten rid of that. Did we learn anything? No, we didn't learn anything other than Iowa State could beat Kansas State. That's what we learned.
Yeah, look, like maybe they're not necessarily out of it mathematically, but based off of the performance in that game, and I get that there was some rain there, especially in the first quarter. But
rain in Ireland? No way.
Yeah, what a shocker, right? But woof. At least their passing offense early on in that game was tough. It was a little hard to watch at times. So
Are you like a serious college football guy?
Very
Max?
much so, yeah.
Okay. All right. I love college football, but my read, college football, especially the college football media that is specific to college football, worship it. It's almost a cult. I'm not quite there.
I just love what I mostly love about it is just every weekend knowing that from noon until like 1 a.m,
yes,
there's always games on and there's always something to watch, and I really enjoy that.
I'm with you, man. When the sport ends, like there are people who already are experiencing FOMO. Like when it's like I already miss it. It's like a drug. I think college football is a drug. It's amazing.
One of the best drugs on the planet.
I love the atmosphere. The atmosphere of college football is the best. In the best of any sport, there is no atmosphere like college football.
Oh yeah, the tradition, everything.
Yep.
It's unbeatable. We'll take this one from the YouTube chat here. This is from our guy Micah, one of our dedicated viewers, listeners. He really wants to know: is it Tulski or Ra that seems maybe against getting more grit and toughness on the team? Panthers clearly have many players that bring it, and 100% helps their cup run. So why don't the Hurricanes have more grit?
I think they do. The grit for me, I'm not really sure why. I think more than grit, they need more size among their forward group, right? I don't think they lack grit. I think they lack usable, like, scoring of that nature. So they don't have, I'll use Sam Bennett as an example. They don't have a big, frankly, it would be great to get that in a number 2 center. They don't have that element with size. Logan Stankoven is a gritty player. I know people may not want to admit this. Seth Jarvis is a gritty player. Sebastian Ahope is a gritty player. This would be a lot easier to deal with if Andrei Svechnikov was a more successful goal scorer. If Jordan Martinook could provide, or Jordan Stahl, or I guess William Carrier could provide more goal scoring. They don't. There is not a lack of that. To me, it's sort of like we've talked ourselves into that the Hurricanes lack this. They lack playoff goal scoring because the game is different in the postseason than it is in the regular season. But to me, it's much about size as anything.
And look, if you have any other questions about what's going on with the Canes, remember that Rod Brindamore Canes Corner interview is dropping tonight at 7. Be sure to tune into that.
Speaking of, we talked about number 2 center.
Oh, yeah.
We did.
That's a big topic headed into this season.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody make sure you tune in for that, 7 o'clock tonight. That'll be where you get your podcast and our YouTube as well.
And by the way, I've already criticized my own posture. I don't need any comments about it.
No comments about posture.
Yeah, it's terrible. Awful.
All right,
embarrassing.
Let's go to one that you and I know are both are very dialed into.
Yes.
So FedEx Cup finished up yesterday. Tommy Fleetwood getting his first win. But it brings on the next big story in golf is the Ryder Cup.
Yep.
Just about a month away. The captain's picks for the United States will be coming out on Wednesday, I think at 11 a.m.
Yes.
Will Captain Keegan Bradley pick himself, and should he pick himself for the Ryder Cup?
All right. Short answer is no, he should not pick himself. He's 3 months ago, he was a slam dunk. He is not a slam dunk anymore. He is essentially, with respect to the group, There's nobody in the group that is playing so well right now that they are automatic, right? Except Justin Thomas is automatic. Patrick Cantlay, based on his previous record, is automatic. Colin Morikawa is right behind Justin Thomas, 8th in the points list. He's going to make the team, right? Morikawa right now is probably playing the worst of anybody who's in the mix, but he's going to make the team. Ben Griffin has won twice this year. Really good putter, has had a great year, probably makes the team. Cam Young, who just won a couple of weeks ago, probably going to make the team, but maybe not. To me, Bradley is in the mix. This is the best way to say it. If somebody not named Keegan Bradley was the captain, Bradley would definitely be under consideration, but not a lock. And if you're the captain, your best chance to have the biggest impact in the Ryder Cup is as a captain, not as a player. So I think for that reason, Keegan Bradley shouldn't pick himself. I don't know what he's going to do. I'd take Sam Burns as the last player on that team.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Adam Gold Show.
We're going to find out if strength of schedule really matters in college football based on what Penn State and some of the other national contenders in that league are doing or not doing. And then you look at what Miami is doing, what Clemson is doing, as the ACC, really to their own detriment, always seems to play too difficult of a non-conference schedule. Now you got to go win them.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Want to score points with your boss? Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
This is Dr. Craig McGiffin with Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots? Whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 70,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs significantly less and tends to work much faster. Ready for real, lasting results? Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here from 99.9 The Fan. Thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, I'm down over 25 pounds in 4 weeks from Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Raleigh Weight Loss Center is having a huge end of summer sale offering up to 20% off now through August 29th with the lowest prices of the year on the amazing Raleigh Weight Loss program. Schedule your consultation today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsors, First Carolina Bank and Smith Douglas Homes. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
The deals are heating up at Wilkinson Chevrolet GMC in Sanford. Right now, you can drive home in a new 2025 GMC Sierra 2500 HD Denali with up to $8,500 off MSRP, including bonus cash, purchase allowance, and Wilkinson discount. See dealer for details. Whether you're towing, hauling, or turning heads, that's thousands of dollars in savings. GMC, we are professional grade. Hurry to Wilkinson Chevrolet GMC in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. No application fee if you apply by September 3rd. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Look, he's got new wide receivers. He's got new guys up front, and he needs time to learn and grow. He might be great. He might win the Heisman Trophy, but none of us have any idea because when you look at the top 10 teams in the AP poll, 7 of the top 10 teams have new starting quarterbacks, and he's just one of them. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. But if Texas is going to finish the season where it starts at number 1, I would say he has to be great.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If you are the number 1 team in the country, your quarterback's probably played great. Is there a way around that? I mean, I don't see, like a couple of years ago, without relitigating what happened to Florida State when they decided to leave them out of the playoff. I mean, Jordan Travis, he wasn't the best quarterback, right, in the country, but he had a great season. So I have no idea if Arch Manning is going to be the best quarterback in the country. But he will have to have a great season. Or, let's just say, off chance, he's injured. Whoever comes in would have to have a great season. Otherwise, Texas ain't going to be number 1. It's just flat out. Goes without saying. I did see somebody, by the way, it's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin sitting in for Victoria today. I did see somebody going through the top 10 quarterbacks in college football, 10 through 1, and Arch Manning was number 1. And I am not here to tell you that he is the best quarterback in college football, but what I found interesting was how many people that I at least recognized their names who said he's way overrated. I really think it depends on like what you want, what you want to see, or honestly personal likes and dislikes. Arch Manning looks like the perfect modern college quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be great or not.
Yeah, and people who are
he's Manning. He's a Manning. Automatically, he's number 1.
People who are kind of saying he's overrated, like they might take a performance in week 1 where they're going on the road to Ohio State and playing one of the better defenses in the country, and if he doesn't play super well, I mean, people will use that in their narrative when probably almost no quarterback with their first year as the full-time starter going on the road to the shoe is going to play well. So
number 1 is a very slight underdog at Ohio State. So, but yeah, it's an enormous game for Texas, Arch Manning, because we will pretend that the outcome of that game is the most important thing ever when it isn't. Case in point, last year, do you remember the outcome of Georgia was it Georgia at Alabama or Alabama at Georgia? I think it was Alabama at Georgia.
I think it was at Bama.
Was it at Bama?
Pretty
Doesn't
sure
matter.
It was Georgia at Bama.
So, do you remember the outcome of that game?
Alabama won.
Alabama got out to a huge lead.
Big lead.
Right?
Georgia came storming back and either tied it or took the lead, and then Bama scored a huge touchdown on the next drive.
At the end and won it. Who made the playoff and who didn't?
Georgia.
Georgia made the playoff. So the outcome of that game, I'm not going to say was irrelevant because that's a lie. It was relevant, but it didn't tell us what we will decide at the end, right after this game is over. It didn't tell us what we thought that would mean. We thought Alabama beating Georgia, that wouldn't eliminate Georgia, but if you looked at Georgia's schedule the rest of the way, you could have seen a path where, oh my gosh, Georgia could lose 3 times, 4 times, and miss the playoff. We didn't even consider that Alabama could lose 3 times and miss the playoff, and they did.
Including losing to Vanderbilt.
They lost to got blown out by Oklahoma in the worst blowout win I've ever seen, because Oklahoma didn't do anything offensively. That was all about Alabama mistakes. But the outcome of this game will be looked at as such as a harbinger. This is what's going to, oh my gosh, Texas went to Ohio State. Arch Manning, he could be great for the next 11 weeks, and it wouldn't matter. Depending on what well, I shouldn't say it wouldn't matter. People will have made their minds up after week 1 if Arch doesn't have a good game. Like, that's the nature of college football. It's really the nature of football. Everything we see is a referendum on everything. That's just what college football has become. But it is a great way to start the college football season. So before we get into the week that we've got, which basically is being propped up by ACC football. Week 1 is almost entirely propped up by a game involving an ACC team, almost across the board. Before we get to that, the college football playoff, like before we even enter into the conversation about the craziness of 24 or 28, which the Big Ten is advocating for, so they know they can get Iowa in. They talked about going from 12, where we were last year and this year, to 16. The deadline to get to 16, they have decided, is December 1st. For whatever reason, December 1st is the drop-dead date, where if we don't have a plan to go to 16, we're just going to stay at 12. I think it's arbitrary. I wouldn't be surprised if on December 15th they went, now we're going to go to 16.
That's for next season, right? Not for this year.
No. December 1, deadline for the following season to get to 16. This year's 12. What the one thing they did do this year was determine that the seeding process would be different from last year, where we had, if you were a top 4 conference champion, you got a bye. So Clemson, but Clemson wasn't even in the top 4. Clemson had to play in week 1. Boise State got that bye, right? So it was, and I'm not sure did Arizona State get a bye? I don't think Arizona State got a bye either, because we had 4.
No, they had the bye last year.
They had the bye. Boise State got Clemson's bye. So now they are just seeding based on the rankings. Top 4 teams, except for Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame can get a bye yet. Top 4 teams will get, a bye in round 1, which is honestly the way it should be. I would do that for every sport, by the way. I don't know how you feel about this, Max, but in the NFL, if you win a division and you're 9-8, I'm sorry, you don't get you don't get the 4th seed. You don't get a home playoff game. I think just entrance to the postseason, that's good enough. I mean, to me, that's good enough. So I wish every sport would do the same thing.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of how, was it the NHL they used to do, or the NBA, where the 3 division winners in each conference would be the top 3 seeds, and then the rest of the playoffs was based on. So that kind of doesn't make sense.
The NHL used to do that.
Yeah, you'd have a worse team in the top 2 or 3 seeds.
Look, I think the Hurricanes have been a division winner with the 8th best record, I believe. And that might have been the case in 2002, to be honest. I have to go back and look at it. That's no good. It shouldn't be. Getting in is different than like giving the best teams the opportunity to go further. I mean, to me, that just makes sense. Home, whether it's home ice or home court or home field, you should have that. Anyway, let's just say home crowd, because the playing surfaces should all be about the same. But I like the fact that college football did change to that. I don't like that they're talking about 24 or 28 teams, and I don't think ESPN's Reese Davis does either, and that is where we will do take two. Took a long time to get to that point, didn't it, Max?
It
My
did.
fault.
That's okay.
My fault. I'm brand new at this, as you can expect. So here's Reese Davis on college football playoff further expansion.
I'm just going to say this flat out. I don't believe they're serious about this. I believe this is like when you go to sell your house and you say, I'm going to ask, $1 million more than I really will settle for. They're trying to get something back on the other side because on its face, this is absurd. It's absurd on its face. So they have to be looking for something else. That's my guess. And I almost feel like the SEC's play to go to 9 games in the regular season saying, okay, let's see what you do with the strength of schedule metric. But the other thing is, all of these schedules are still going to be unequal. I agree with Petiti on this. 100% agree. There's no magic metric. Somebody's going to be mad regardless of the answer.
All of that is true. Shouts to Reese Davis for spitting bars there. 9 games for the SEC in terms of conference play. Why are you doing that? I made fun on Friday of the fact that Tony Petiti essentially lumped his league in with the SEC in terms of, man, how do we tell the difference between our records, meaning the Big Ten and the SEC, and other conferences' records if we don't all play 9 games? Look, the Big Ten's 9-game conference football schedule and the SEC's 9-game conference football schedule are not the same. Not by any stretch of the imagination. You are being intellectually dishonest if you think those two things are the same. That's the Jedi mind trick that Big Ten athletics has pulled on everybody. Like, come on. Indiana played 9 conference games last year and played 1 good one and lost it. You wanted to see Indiana's conference schedule? This is not even a joke. Indiana's conference schedule last year, go to the bottom of the standings and go up. There you go. Except for Ohio State, which finished, actually, they finished second, right? Finished third.
I'd have to look at the standings from last year, but
because Ohio State lost twice in league play.
Yeah, because they lost to Michigan.
Right. Whoops.
And they lost at Oregon because Will Howard slid with like 2 seconds left. And
Oregon
they
and
lost.
Penn State played for the Big Ten title.
I will say, looking at Indiana's conference schedule this year,
it's the same.
No, it is not. They are playing Illinois, they're playing Oregon, and they're playing at Penn State this year in conference. So
3.
I don't think Indiana's making the playoff this year. I'll go ahead and make that bold statement now.
3 difficult games out of 9?
I mean, they also play at Iowa. They play at home against Wisconsin. Like, there's some difficult games on this conference schedule for them this year.
Anyway, that to me was always kind of comedy.
But last year, I mean,
it was just an absolute, utter joke. What a clown show. All right, let me get to Shedeur Sanders here. I did see somebody express some bewilderment that we were debating whether or not a 5th-round quarterback should be 3rd on the depth chart or not. Shedeur Sanders probably should have been drafted higher than in the 5th round. I'm just going to say, I'm not saying he should have been a 1st-round pick. Remember, there was a time where people thought he would be the 1st overall pick. I am not advocating for that. I am not advocating for him as a starter. I'm not. But let's be fair here. I do think that there are many who wanted no part of the Shedeur Sanders circus because, and I'm not blaming him for that. I'm blaming everything else. It's sort of like I never blamed Tim Tebow for a Tim Tebow circus. It was everything around Tim Tebow. And in this case, with Shedeur Sanders, could be dad. That could be a problem. But either way, what I saw against the Panthers was, hey, that was pretty good. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought he made some good throws. I thought he made some poor throws. I thought he had some good decisions. Here's what I think about Shedeur Sanders. I think he has a chance. I don't care where he is in the depth chart. I think it's telling that Cleveland is starting the season with Joe Flacco at quarterback. I think that speaks to we don't think anybody can play right now. That's why we're using Joe Flacco. Do you know the last time Joe Flacco has been a top half of the NFL quarterback? You know how long ago that was? That was 2012.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That is a career ago.
And there were like debates even back then I remember it was like, is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback? And that was like a hot topic.
That was the year that they went and won the Super Bowl. And Flacco was amazing in the playoffs. Of course, at least one of the wins early on, I think it might have been at Denver, needed kind of as like a borderline Hail Mary to win it, right? Regardless, he won it. And then they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl, and Flacco cashed in with this massive contract, and then the whole world recognized, okay, he's just kind of good. And that's fine. Baltimore could have won the Super Bowl and could have contended for others with just a good quarterback because the rest of that team, especially the defense, was amazing. But that was a career ago. And Joe Flacco is starting the season as the number one quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I wonder who's going to finish last in that division. Tony Haynes will join us when we come back for, almost 2 decades. He has been a sideline analyst for NC State Radio. To me, the best element of any local broadcast. And he joins us next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
We are knocking on the door of the regular season for the Carolina Panthers, and there are still so many questions on the defensive depth chart. The depth, the second unit. What happens if someone gets hurt? For the Carolina Panthers defense is the type of question where the answers are harrowing. You don't want to see them. It's like the end of a horror movie. Just roll credits.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Don't find out later. Find out first with WRAL News at 4.
Breaking news right now here at 4 o'clock.
From breaking news to the forecast you need right now.
The dual Doppler 5000 radar is showing some storms.
WRAL News at 4 has you covered.
And from the WRAL Live Center, a traffic alert on I-40.
The afternoon rush starts here.
New at 4 o'clock, we've learned why there was such a large police presence.
Watch WRAL News at 4 today and every weekday. That's coverage you can count on.
Summer's wrapping up, and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve, to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC branded pain relievers. Aleve helps keep you moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose, so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box in
went
the car.
to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. We don't waste any more time. We bring in Tony Haynes, Wolfpack Radio Network sideline analyst, who I saw the release on Friday, sir, and I don't know, I felt sad and happy at the same time as you are entering what you have announced would be your final season on the sidelines for NC State football. I assume you're ditching basketball too. How you doing?
I'm doing great, but, this show today was bursting with energy until you chose to play one of my favorite songs, which happens to be a pretty poignant, sad song. But I appreciate you pulling that one out. Perhaps it's appropriate for the occasion, right?
Well, look, it should be an exciting football season. Before I get to the,
right.
to the team and the game against East Carolina, just because, I'm just going to throw some praise at you. I think what you do, we have sideline reporters all over the place in all sports. You are a sideline analyst, and I think it's been the best part of any radio broadcast, pro or college, that I have ever listened to. So, and I think part of that, a huge part of it, is because you're really good at it. And now, so you guys have two analysts, but your perspective on the field is just, it's next level. So I missed that already.
Well, I appreciate that. I think I can see things on the field that they can't see in the booth. Likewise, they can see some things up there that I don't always I'm not able to pick out when you're on the sidelines. But I think it's been a good combination. You know, when I first started at Duke in 1987, that was my first opportunity. That was they had a first-year coach there by the name of Steve Spurrier. What a way to break in. And, you know, I was more like a sideline reporter. You know, I was young then. I didn't know as many things as I know now, but it was more, you know, reporting on injuries and that sort of thing. So I had not moved into that kind of sideline analyst realm yet, but it took a lot of years of trying to learn as much about football as I possibly could. And, you know, one of the things that makes this career rewarding is that our coaches, both at Duke and now at NC State for 26 years, they've given me a lot of access. And with that access, including practice and those sorts of things, if you're willing to learn more and you run around with your eyes open and you ask the right questions, you can learn. And hopefully that's kind of paid off for me over the years.
Tony Haynes is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, now let's get to this team. What is the significance in starting this season against the team that you ended last season against?
That's a great question, because when I think of East Carolina, and I go back to when I was a teenager, I'd literally, back in 1974, 75, I'd be sitting on the old grassy hill when NC State would play East Carolina, and Pat Dye was the coach at ECU back then. And they were really good. You know, they ran the wishbone. But ECU has always played with a chip on its shoulder, and not just against NC State, against North Carolina. They just kind of carry that chip on their shoulder over the years, and it's worked for them. It's been very effective. They always play like they've got something to prove. And you look at all the quote-unquote upset wins that they posted over the years, it shows up. When they're good enough, they're a threat to beat just about anybody. So yeah, it is the old proverbial they play with a chip on their shoulder. One thing that Coach Doran said on Friday night, you know what, NC State is going to have a chip on its shoulder, not only for this game, but for this season. And I think part of that chip comes from that very disappointing loss to ECU in the Military Bowl and the way it ended. Coach Doran has said it many times how embarrassed he was by the behavior of some of his players after the game was over. I think it still bugs him. I remember in the post game interview after the Military Bowl, he was really upset. He was mad, and he was mad at his guys for the way they handled that situation. So, you know, they've been stewing on that for months and months and months. So I think you're going to have two teams now that open up on Carter Finley Stadium. Both of them feel like they got something to prove.
Tony Haynes is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. I mentioned this earlier, and I'm not sure enough has been made about it, because almost every other coach would have softened the blow, would have said things like, well, yeah, there were certain things that were said, but he wanted none of that. I mean, he said we were responsible for that behavior. Tony Haynes is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, I want to get to the quarterback, because over the last couple of seasons, State's brought in a quarterback through the transfer portal to varying levels of success or non-success. But this year, they start with their own. How much of a factor is it that whether C.J. Bailey is great or not, and I think he will be very good and better than last year, but how much of a factor is it that he's been here a year? They know who C.J. Bailey is.
Well, I think it's huge. And in this era of transfer portal, when players as good as C.J. Bailey actually stay for 2 years, he's becoming a rare commodity at a specialized position. And you look at his numbers from last year, the only two quarterbacks I can think of that posted numbers that were similar or just a little bit better were Phillip Rivers and Russell Wilson as a rookie, as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you put your name on that list with a couple of guys like that. That means you had a really good freshman year. And, you know, this was thrown at him unexpectedly because they had a veteran quarterback that they thought would be one of the best in the ACC. He gets knocked out early in the season And then they hand C.J. Bailey the ball and say, all right, young man, it's all yours. And we're going through the meat of the ACC schedule. And he succeeded. I think he actually exceeded anybody's reasonable expectations with the way he played. And he got better and better, and they learned how to use his strengths to their advantage. And they obviously had some good skilled people. I thought, as a passer, a freshman just throwing the football with his ability to put the ball in tight windows and making good decisions, he was exceptional. But now he gets to the second year, and he gets in his second year working with Kurt Roper, which I think is very important. And Coach Roper now goes from quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator. So there's a bond and a trust that's already built up between Coach Roper and C.J. Bailey. And I'm really eager to see what he can do. I think he has a chance to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Where is the biggest area of improvement he can make?
I just think overall consistency.
Okay.
And again, freshmen at any position, but particularly at that spot, they're going to have their share of ups and downs. But he was impressive the way he composed himself. The players automatically got behind him. Every one of them, 2 games into his freshman season, they were talking about what a great leader and communicator he was, how enthusiastic he is. He does bring a great deal of enthusiasm and love for the game. I think the word consistency, it would be there, and you kind of expect to see that between the freshman and sophomore season.
I think Dave Doran talked about the offense needing to be better early in games. If you look at overall the package offensively, overall the numbers weren't bad, but sometimes those starts were really bad, and my guess is that C.J. Bailey wants to be better earlier in games, so you're not playing catch-up to avoid those mistakes in the first and second quarters.
Absolutely, and that stings when you look back on what was a 6-7 season, and they lost 4 one-possession games. So it's tough when you get off to a rough start and you're fighting uphill for the entirety of 4 quarters. Now, to their credit, they managed to get back in most of those games and have a chance. I mean, you think about late in the season, they had a great comeback at Georgia Tech, but then the defense couldn't stop the Yellow Jackets in the last minute. They went down and they scored. Even the Duke game, which I think ended up being a 10-point game, it was essentially a one-possession game because I think Duke took advantage of a turnover and scored late. So in my mind, they had 5 one-possession losses last year, and it just shows you that not all of the important possessions are in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Don't take for granted what's happening in the first quarter, right?
Right.
And if you get off to a good start, it kind of sets a tone for the game.
Yeah, it really can change the game. Whether it's real or imagined, like you've seen it all the time. I'm not accusing anybody of doing this. You'll fall behind early, and all of a sudden, oh man, we've just got to throw the ball, and you don't. Right? There's plenty of time. There's 15 possessions in most college football games, maybe more. I mean, heck, could be each team could end up having 12 possessions in a college football game or more. So you can still do what you do, but sometimes it is imagined that you're too far behind. You abandon all things. Talk to me, Tony, about the fact that Tony Gibson is now at Marshall and how NC State moves on from really one of the best defensive eras that we have seen at NC State.
Yeah, and as hitchhiking on your point you just made, since they changed the clock rules a few years ago, generally speaking, you do have fewer possessions and fewer offensive plays in a game, which makes it more difficult to come back because the games are a little bit shorter because of the way the clock runs continuously. It doesn't stop on every time the ball goes out of bounds. It stops briefly, but then they crank that thing back up. It's almost more like the NFL now. Yes, you're right. NC State under Tony Gibson, for the most part, traditionally had one of the best, most disruptive defenses in the ACC. And to me, it starts at the linebacker position. There was a time when Isaiah Moore, Drake Thomas, and Peyton Wilson were playing together, okay? That was as good a group as we've seen here probably since You have to go back 15 years or so to find a group that was that talented and that good. And all three of those guys played in the NFL. Isaiah briefly because of injuries, but
right.
So they were very dynamic personnel-wise. I thought their personnel slipped a little bit, especially at that position. And then Caden Fordham injures himself. He was the leader of the defense.
Yeah.
So that hurt them. But they got to get back. We'll be interested to see how this pans out with DJ Elliott coming in, because they weren't that powerful, dynamic defensive team last year. They gave up 30 points per game, almost 400 yards per game. Opposing teams rushed for an average of 4.8 yards per rush. You don't want to be in that territory as a defense. And then on top of that, they gave up a bevy of explosive plays. So I think one thing Coach Doran did when he went out, he found DJ Elliott, who's known for years. Elliott, of course, worked for the Eagles a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it made an impact on Coach Doran when he watched his beloved Chiefs lose to the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and the way that the Eagles' defensive front just dominated that game. Now, NC State's talent on the defensive line it's not going to look like the Philadelphia Eagles, but the point behind what I'm saying, and he mentioned this, he wants to get back to making tackles in the backfield. He wants more disruption like they had for the most part under Tony Gibson. He wants plays that go negative. He wants more quarterback sacks. He wants more quarterback pressures. So we'll maybe see on Thursday night where this defense might be headed in that first game against East Carolina.
All right, Will Fordham, who, by the way, will wear number 1, which is a great honor for him. I saw that. Will it be him or somebody else on that maybe first or second line of defense that is that dynamic playmaker that, I'm not saying makes people remember Bradley Chubb or, Mario Williams or Manny Lawson or players like that, but who will be that catalyst that leads to those TFLs that NC State needs? And then we will let Tony Haynes go.
Well, I think Brandon Cleveland is due a big year. His career path at defensive tackle is almost paralleled that of what we saw at B.J. Hill when Coach Doran first got here. B.J. Hill started as a freshman because he had to.
Right.
They just didn't have a lot of depth on the defensive line, but it really worked out for B.J. Hill. He became an outstanding college defensive lineman and is enjoying a long, fruitful career in the NFL. But B.J. Hill had to get knocked around his freshman year because a lot of times you don't want your one of your starting defensive tackle being a freshman. But he benefited from it. And Brandon Cleveland kind of ran into the same thing a couple of years ago. And now I think they expect him in his third year to blossom as maybe one of the better, more dominant defensive tackles on the inside. And I think Sean Brown, too. I think Sean Brown, he's a converted safety. He was one of NC's. He is a disruptor.
Right.
And you got a guy that came in with the speed of a safety, had a few pounds, and now he's playing linebacker. He made some plays in the backfield last year in his first year as a linebacker. You would expect him to continue to evolve.
All right, we're going to let you go there. I know we'll talk again between now and the end of the season, so we'll get nostalgic and maybe even a little romantic about the sport coming up later on in the year. Have fun on Thursday night, which should be an absolute treat to open up the season against the Pirates at Carter Finley Stadium Thursday night. Appreciate your time, Tony Haynes.
Yeah, and the most important thing is I'll be playing from the senior tees in about 3 months.
Which you don't even need.
But I can justify it when I'm retired.
Gotcha.
And I got a Medicare card in my pocket as well.
Oh, man, you're the best. Thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate your time.
See you, Adam. Thank you.
You got it. Tony Haynes here on the Adam Gold Show. Yeah, he doesn't need the senior tees.
But why not take any excuse? It's like, what was the clip? I think it's Cat Williams who was like, they asked him, "Oh, do you play the tips?" And he was like, I found you don't get anything extra for that.
You don't. That's an ego stroke.
Well, you get a couple extra shots in your score, I guess.
Yes, you do. More than a couple. Real quick before we break. You're familiar with the site of the Ryder Cup this year is Bethpage Black.
Yeah.
In center of Long Island. I played there a few times. It is amazing. It's the hardest, most straightforward, fair, untricked up golf course you've ever seen. And they have that plaque. That's the warning sign right by the first tee. Warning, the black course is, essentially it's dangerous to your health.
Yeah, it's only for extremely skilled golfers.
It is, well, it's not. It's for anybody. If you don't have to be that, you don't have to be that great. You just have to be able to hit the ball solidly. And you could survive that golf course.
Well, that's just what the sign says. Is it's for extremely skilled golfers or something like that.
I know. Yeah. But it is just amazing. I'm not even sure why I brought it up other than it's that. Oh, so the first time I played it, the second time I played it, let's see what it's like from all the way back, like 7,300 yards. You know what it's like from back there? You don't want that.
It's not fun.
No, you don't want it. I told this story to one of our guests recently. I was there at the U.S. Open in 2002. We were there for the Thursday opening round. And I watched Scott Verplank, Chris DeMarco, and I forget the third player. It might have been Paul Goydos, for people who are into golf, remember those players' names. And neither of the three, none of the three, reached the fairway off the 10th tee. It was like a 260-yard carry to the fairway. All three of them ended up in the rough. Two of them in the middle, short. One just missed it to the left, but he wouldn't have reached the fairway either. It was unbelievable. The next time they were there, 7 years later, they started the fairways about 25 to 30 yards shorter, so they wouldn't have that situation. It's an incredibly hard golf course. Anyway, we'll come back, we'll stretch, we will place bets, and I am all ready for today and tonight. Next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Turning 65 soon, navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available. If you feel lonely, isolated, anxious, or overwhelmed, help is here all day and night. Call, text, or chat 988 without cost, without judgment, and without waiting for an appointment. You'll get support that can make a difference. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org. Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/contactnc to find your county's ombudsman.
This is Adam Gold.
Steve Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick, bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house, they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. We thank Tony Haynes for his time. Next hour, Elliott Johnson will join us. 5 weeks remain in the Major League Baseball season. Yankees finally beat the Red Sox. 8 straight wins by Boston over New York? Really? That's amazing.
Couldn't finish the sweep, though.
No, they couldn't sweep the 4-game set. Carlos Rodon, very good. Last night, Yankees jumped all over Dustin May, and that was that. Mets lost to the Braves yesterday after taking the first 2 games of their series. And the Mets, they've kind of leveled off into playing 500 ball over the last couple of weeks, which, frankly, is an uptick based on the previous 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Gosh, they've been bad.
So the Nolan McClain effect coming in.
Been very
picking
good.
Things up for him.
He has been really, really good, proud of Garner High School. So we'll talk to Elliott Johnson about that. Also, did you see Shohei Ohtani dap up a fan behind the plate who was
the
heckling
Padre
him?
fan.
Guy was heckling him. He dapped him up. Good for Shohei. Little personality. All right. First thing we got to do right now, we got to stretch.
All right, so it's a big week. I'm a big fan of, especially recently, of tennis.
Yes.
And
Same.
The U.S. Open got underway here yesterday. Started at 11 a.m. with a bunch of first-round matches. Nothing crazy until one of the last matches of the night. It was Daniil Medvedev taking on the Frenchman Benjamin Bonzi. Bonzi was serving match point third, so he had won the first 2 sets, was serving for the match, had an advantage, missed his first serve, then a cameraman runs onto the court to go into the camera well to the side of the court, and this prompts the umpire, Greg Allensworth. He gives Bonzi another first serve. So he was going to be a second serve. Cameraman runs on. All of a sudden, he gets another first serve. Well, Medvedev, for those of you who are not big tennis fans, is known, kind of have a short fuse, kind of known for his on-court antics. And this basically caused him to completely melt down. He goes to argue with the umpire, starts hyping up the crowd, provoking them, and it ended up being a 6-minute delay until Bonzi could eventually serve again, after which Medvedev ended up actually breaking him and extending it. And it ended up going for another hour and a half or so after that. Medvedev won that set. He won the fourth set 6-0.
Bageled him.
And then ultimately Bonzi ended up winning in the fifth. But I have an excerpt here from his meltdown where he's basically saying Allensworth wants to go home because he gets paid by the match and not by the hour. And also that he references Riley Opelka saying that the guy's the worst ref in the history of the ATP. Let's take a listen here.
And it's a first serve. You want to go home. He wants to go home, guys. He doesn't like to be here. He gets paid by the match, not by the hour. Yeah? What did Riley Opelka say? What did Riley Opelka say? What did Riley...
Let's play.
Let's play.
So I'm also a fan of Grand Slam tennis. Daniil Medvedev, about 6 or 7 years ago, when he first burst onto the scene, was an ass. Now, to me, he's more entertainer than anything else. He's also an amazing player. Past U.S. Open champion, right?
2021, I believe.
But that episode, what he did last night, that's uncalled for. And frankly, he should have been defaulted. And that's it. Or at least should have gotten code violations.
Yeah, but it was match points. If he gets a code violation, then the point and the match is over.
So the second he get a code violation, first thing is a warning, then it's a point, right? So if that chair umpire gives him a code violation right away, it's a warning, we could be out of there. Way too much restraint. Or maybe, but he put the other guy, Bonzi?
Bonzi, yeah.
He put his match in jeopardy by not dealing with that.
I'm sure that camera guy probably got his credential revoked as well, running on the court there to get in.
He was taking pictures later.
Yeah, he was while it was all going down. It was just crazy. The 6-minute delay.
That.
The fans just would not. And it was funny because at the end too, the fans were like in the fifth set. The fans were like rooting for Bonzi.
Yeah.
But during this whole thing, they wouldn't stop cheering, so he couldn't serve. It was one of the more bizarre things I've ever seen, but it was really entertaining to watch.
Have you ever gone to the U.S. Open?
I haven't. I'd really like to go, but I have not been.
I've been to several U.S. Opens, especially late in the night. Nobody wants it to end, so you're always rooting for more tennis. Always.
Yeah, I mean it was incredible. Yeah. And there's so many matches too. It's I kind of wish it was maybe like a week earlier because it would be the perfect thing to get us through the summer to the start of football. And now it kind of runs, concurrent with week 1 of football, but it provides a lot of opportunities to place wagers, which we will do right now.
Place your bets. Do you? I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, I am going to the U.S. Open for my third and final wager.
Oh, okay.
Today. So, yeah.
I have one as well.
All right. Why don't you start? I went 1-2 from Friday, but the one was a plus 270. We had a Pedro Neto anytime goal in Chelsea's win over West Ham. Graham Potter not going to last the month, probably, as West Ham manager.
Yeah, they are looking like awful. They're probably going to get dropped.
Oh, yeah. Where would you like to start, Mac?
I'll start with some Prem action. We got the final game of match week 2 this afternoon. Liverpool taking on Newcastle. I will go with Florian Wirtz to score or assist plus 115.
Florian Wirtz. I would appreciate that. I'm also going to start there. Look, this is going to be essentially more of a hockey game than a football game. I mean, it's going to be a very physical match. So I'd love to say Liverpool's going to win, but I actually think it's going to be a draw. But I don't want to pick a draw. So I'm going to just say anytime goal scorer, going to give you one from each team. Cody Gakpo plus 240 and Sandro Tonali at plus 750. It's a little bit of a long shot.
It was like 2 or 3 years ago, I always had Sandro Tonali on my FIFA Ultimate Team squad.
Very nice.
Very solid midfielder.
Very good.
So I'll go to the U.S. Open now. First round, still a lot of kind of lopsided lines, so I had to parlay a few together here. You know, the 3 R's are reduce, reuse, recycle, but for me it is Runa, Ruud, and Rublev all to win. That is plus 112. It shows how heavy of favorites are. That 3-legger is plus 112.
Wow. I'm going to go to Major League Baseball. Yankees and Nationals tonight. Giancarlo Stanton has been on fire of late. Anytime home run plus 250 for Giancarlo Stanton.
And I'll go one more. This will be a bit more in the future because I'm not sure the next time I'll be producing with you, Adam. So I'll go ahead and throw out a Week 1 college football pick here as well. I am going with the Ohio State-Texas under 47.5. 2 new starting quarterbacks, even if one of them is Arch Manning, against 2 of the better defenses in college football. Hopefully it'll rain, too, because then it'll really just be under city. So under 47.5, Ohio State-Texas, that is minus 106.
All right, let's do it. U.S. Open tonight, under the lights, 7 o'clock, Venus Williams. Plus, who's she playing?
I don't know. She is this
Karolina
line is,
Muchova.
Yeah, she's a massive underdog, isn't she?
Plus 890. I've already done it. I have my own currency on it. I'm getting Venus Williams at plus 890, and it's not against Sabalenka or one of the absolute favorites to win it. Give it to me.
She won a singles match a few weeks ago, too, against
2.
Peyton Stearns.
I think she won 2 singles matches, right? And then got bounced in the 3rd round. Give me Venus at plus 890. When am I ever going to get the opportunity to do that? Speaking of Venus Williams, her sister Serena showed up in, for me, a very unlikely spot.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Move your sports day forward.
A lesson learned this month, courtesy of some student athletes paying people via Venmo. When you're transferring money to friends, don't use real descriptions. Don't say sports gambling, especially if you're a student athlete playing sports. Try something different, like hide it under pizza or maybe feet pics.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You know what tomorrow is, right? Yeah, I know. It's Tuesday, but it's better than Tuesday. It's FanDuel Futures Day. That's right. 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. You may like somebody to win the MVP, have at it, win a division, but let's go for all of it. Let's go for broke. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Cowboys fans, your odds are worse than the Cardinals and the Bears. That tells you the state of your franchise. Sorry about that. Plus 4,500 if you are interested. So mark your calendars for tomorrow. You shouldn't need to do that, but it's tomorrow. FanDuel Futures Day. Go to the app and have at it. FanDuel. Play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers the most important high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsor, First Carolina Bank. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire.
10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Well, you should be thanking the SEC because if this works, it'll keep them from doing the automatic bids. And it's interesting because it's sort of counterintuitive with the Big 12 and the ACC coming out against getting 2 automatic bids for themselves, because that actually guarantees them 2 spots where they might not get 2 spots. You do not want to sign off on something that says you are half of these other leagues.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin in the producer's chair today. Victoria on assignment. The fundamental question about the college football playoff. I have spent a ton of time since the college football season ended discussing what the next playoff should look like. By the way, shouts to my buddy Chris, the Notre Dame fan, for reminding me, because earlier I had suggested that I don't think that Notre Dame can get a bye. But no, if they are top 4 in the college football playoff rankings at the end of the season, they are eligible for a bye.
They weren't before, but now they are.
That was a deal that they made to basically guarantee them anywhere in the top 12 you'd get in, as though Notre Dame wasn't going to get top 12. But they couldn't, because they received a certain amount of money regardless. So they couldn't get like the big bucks, but they were always getting a larger chunk than, other schools that just appeared in it. So it was a little bit of a trade-off that they made, but they could not get a bye. And now they can. So good for Notre Dame. But college football, first and foremost, has always been a sport that thrived on sometimes silly debates. Whether we're debating who was number 1 back in the days where it was only rankings, or we're debating who's the Heisman Trophy or whatever, college football has been almost wholly dependent upon that until this latest playoff era. I think we were talking with Steve Logan on Friday about this. I would have loved to have just explored this change in college football. Max, you are way too young to remember an era before the BCS.
That is correct.
Right?
All I remember is BCS.
Right. So the first BCS was 98. Where were you in 98? Were you even alive in 98?
I was -3 years old.
There you go. Exactly what I'm talking about. So before then, and yet we had various versions of it, the alliance, the coalition. But when we got to 98 and we had the bowl championship series that was giving us 1 versus 2. At that point, the sport of college football shifted from a regional sport where the whole goal was to win your league, and then whatever happened, happened. Not that you didn't want to win the national championship, but it was first and foremost about, can I win my conference? But the BCS took college football, even though there wasn't a dramatic change, it became a national game. And the postseason took on greater importance than it ever had. We used to live in an era where the national championship, if it were close, according to the rankings, and we had 2 rankings that each, declared a national champion. There was the AP and the UPI, both media polls. And they would put out, there was a coaches poll eventually as well, but there were 2 polls, and they would be 2 different national champions. And sometimes it would be close enough where there would be 2, 3, maybe even 4 bowl games that could impact number 1, which is kind of weird. Right? It's just kind of strange, depending on, what the result of this game was, this game. And the BCS eliminated all of that. And it gave us a game to win the national championship. And that began the push to expand the playoff in college football to where we are now, which is 12. And likely to be 16 in the near future. If they can come to some sort of a decision soon, then we won't stay at 12 for the next 6 years. We'll eventually get to 16, and who knows where it ends. I will say this. If you are in favor of expansion and you want 24 or 28 or whatever, you'll probably get it at some point. Because in the history of mankind, no sports playoffs have ever gotten smaller. None. There is no sport where the playoffs have contracted. None. So, and it won't happen in college football as we're reaching for more and more revenue. Basketball will eventually grow. The only reason why it didn't grow this year was because the NCAA couldn't find somebody to make it worth their while financially. That's it. There's no other reason. Football will eventually grow. But now the entire push is about the end of the regular season. And I'll be quick here. That soundbite coming back is about the ACC and the Big 12 telling the Big 10 and the SEC that we don't want to play by your 4-4. You get 4 each, we get 2 each, because you are admitting to the world that we are an inferior league, even if we all know that the ACC doesn't play as good football as the SEC. Notice I did not say Big 10. Big 10 is the 3-card Monty game. They are the richest conference. They are not necessarily better than anybody else.
Well, the ACC may not be the deepest, but I think they're going to have the best team in all of college football this year. So
if Clemson were to win it, that would be awesome for them. Yeah, it would be great for the ACC. But by and large, ACC football and Big Ten football aren't that far apart. What the Big Ten has had over the years has been a team, Ohio State mostly, until the expansion, which brought in Oregon, Washington, Southern Cal, and UCLA. Theoretically, UCLA and Oregon should be part of the mix at the top every year. USC, not UCLA. USC hasn't quite gotten there. It's been a minute since Southern Cal has been vintage. Oregon has been ahead of them. Either way, we'll see what happens this year. But Big Ten football isn't what they're trying to make it out to be. I can't believe I almost talked through the entire segment. Let's do a wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
And since we've been talking about it, here's Reese Davis on the threat of a 2018 playoff.
I'm just going to say this flat out. I don't believe they're serious about this. I believe this is like when you go to sell your house and you say, I'm going to ask, $1 million more than I really will settle for. They're trying to get something back on the other side because on its face, this is absurd. It's absurd on its face. So they have to be looking for something else. That's my guess. And I almost feel like the SEC's play to go to 9 games in the regular season saying, okay, let's see what you do with the strength of schedule metric. But the other thing is, all of these schedules are still going to be unequal. I agree with Petiti on this. 100% agree. There's no magic metric. Somebody's going to be mad regardless of the answer.
True. And I think Chip Patterson brought this up to me on Wednesday of last week, that this could simply be the Big Ten's version or Big Ten's method to get everybody to accept 4-4-2-2, blah, 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 the rest of it. And I don't think we're going to see that. And I think if you're the ACC and or the Big 12, you should say, no, man, merit. Merit. We should get what we deserve. Every league should get what it deserves. I think that's the PR battle to win. We don't want a handout. We want, all right, conference champions, whatever. I would also be in favor of no conference champions. Just give me the best 12 or 16, whatever it is. I'd be in favor of that. All right. One more thing. We'll be quick here. Thursday night, it is East Carolina and NC State, and Dave Doran can't wait.
I'm a big fan of it. Anytime you can create additional space in the schedule for what's next, it helps. And so opening on a Thursday obviously gives you more recovery and lead time to game 2, regardless of who that is. And for the fans, I think, Thursday night, as you guys know, is pretty electric in Carter Finley. So getting that to be a weekday game makes it a night game. And so that helps also for a variety of reasons. But and then it's always a holiday weekend, and I think it helps our fans to be able to have their Labor Day weekend, where they can go do the things they would do, with their families. And so there's a lot that goes into that. But, being selfish as a coach, it's always, for me, I love having, that Friday, Saturday extra, to heal up and get these guys refocused on game 2.
I'm a big fan of Thursday night football. I would love to see the Wolfpack establish themselves as a Thursday night demon. No, I'm not rooting against East Carolina, but Carter Finley at night is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, when we come back, Elliott Johnson, our baseball expert, analyst, former big leaguer, on the last 5 weeks of the regular season, and something he and I agree about regarding technology and baseball. Next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Pack Therapy Podcast is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. Tim Donnelly here, host of The Drive, alongside Wolfpack legend Casey Morcell.
Every episode is your chance to score inside information on the Pack.
We'll set you up for Wolfpack games all season long.
And we break down the ACC competition, what to watch for as we roll towards the tournament madness.
Plus special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let the high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Nothing beats a fairway green lawn. Now's the time to seed your fescue lawn. A lot of people think it's springtime, but that's incorrect. You got to get out there and do a core aeration seeding, put down the proper fertilizer at that time. And if you have a warm season lawn, now's an excellent time to start controlling winter annual weeds like poana. And of course, broadleaf weeds never stop, no matter what turf you have. So it's always a good time to apply the proper broadleaf weed control and your fertilizers. 919-329-0095. Visit fairwaygreen.com and go ahead and request a free lawn analysis. We'll be out within a few days and leave a very detailed lawn analysis in the door. Nothing beats a fairway green lawn.
Summer's wrapping up and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC branded pain relievers. Aleve helps keep you moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose, so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Not going to lie, every time I see the fact that Cal Raleigh has hit another home run, and he now has 49, I'm drawn to, hey, Raleigh, Major League Baseball, can we do it? It would be great. We're going to talk a little bit about realignment and expansion, but also we got 5 more weeks left in the regular season. The Yankees proved that they could beat the Red Sox. By the way, we could see Yankees and Red Sox. I guess they can meet in a wild card round, right? Although I don't think anybody's catching Toronto, so they wouldn't meet. But Yankees and Red Sox likely are both in the wild card round. Mets will be lucky to hold on to a playoff spot. Elliott Johnson, my friend, former big leaguer, former Brave, among others, joins us. He's a legend with the Tampa Bay Rays and Durham Bulls. Joins us on the Adam Gold Show. This is the time, man. We're almost in September. Next week from today is September. Last 5 weeks of the regular season. As a player, does it feel different to you when you get to this part of the year?
Yes, especially if you're going up against who you're chasing or you're going up against who is chasing you. It absolutely makes the biggest difference because it's one game every time. And the frustrating thing really, so if you think about it, Adam, like when you win and the team you're chasing wins, that doesn't hurt as much. What hurts is when you lose and they lose because you missed the opportunity to gain a full game. Those are the ones that really are painful. And so going head to head, ultimately, I can remember vividly, we had this reporter come through our clubhouse and it was a terrible question. Like, how big is this game? We're playing the Yankees. And I was like, not important at all. And she did not like that answer. But ultimately, you're trying to win 92, 93 games. It doesn't matter how you get them. The Yankees didn't even make the playoffs that year. We did. So it really wasn't all that relevant, So if you think about it that way, sure, you can claim that regular season victories against an opponent matter. But ultimately, when you get to the playoffs, it doesn't really matter anymore because it's a completely new season, and all you have to do is win every series to win the World Series.
That's right. And baseball's postseason is the biggest crapshoot. We don't have to go back too far. We had, I think, 5 versus 6 in terms of the seeds, right? When it was that Philadelphia and Texas in the World Series that year? 5 versus 6? I
don't remember exactly how it played out, but when we get there, Adam, it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you're dancing. And if you don't lose the series the rest of the way, you get a ring. I mean, that's literally what they tell you. And like even the Nationals that won, was it 2019 when they won? They slid in on a wild card and they were hot at the time. So it's not the best team, it's the hottest team. The 07 Rockies, remember how hot they were? They didn't lose a single game until they ran into the Red Sox in the World Series. So you really don't know how it's going to play out.
I think they won 21 of 22 down the stretch to make the playoffs. It was the most incredible thing, and I don't know that they've won a game since. Are the Brewers, Elliott Johnson, the best? I know they are by record, but I thought this before they even caught the Cubs. And I said this to Victoria, who's a big Cubs fan, and I know you grew up a Cubs fan. I was like, I'm not sure the Brewers aren't the best team in baseball. Are they the best team in baseball?
No.
Okay.
No, the Brewers, they've got momentum right now.
It's been 3 months of momentum.
They're good, Adam. They are.
Okay.
They quietly have a really good, scrappy baseball team. I don't think they have enough pitching to be able to sustain.
Okay.
The Cubs have star power, and the problem for them is they're streaky good, streaky bad. So like Pete Crow Armstrong, one of the best players in the game this year. Kyle Tucker, he's playing with a fracture, supposedly, is the reasoning for why he's struggling. Whether or not that's true is another story. You can manufacture anything at this point of the year, but really he's turned down a lot of money to try and test free agency is what it's kind of about. We can talk about that more if you want. But the Cubs have star power. They're expecting to win. Council just needs to settle them down and get back to it. I think the Cubs are still the best team, but the Brewers are clearly, they don't really care about winning on paper because they're doing everything they can to win that division.
Cubs best team in the National League, best team in baseball, or best team in their division?
Probably the best team in the division.
Okay.
It's hard to be able to say that they're somehow better than the Dodgers, which and even the Padres are playing outstanding baseball too. They got a great roster. So those are usually the two teams that are duking it out west, where their GM is routinely sacrificing his farm system for winning this year. It seems like they do that every year, kind of like Dombrowski in Philly, every single year. And they're like, you want these prospects? It's like, you don't have any prospects. You traded them all away already.
So let me ask you real quick about the Yankees and the Red Sox, because Boston has had a weird year. Like throughout the season, throughout the first 3 months of the season, if you pay attention to what they're saying about the team, it's as though they're no good. They're not trying to win. And maybe this is still some kind of carryover from allowing Mookie Betts or trading Mookie Betts to the Dodgers for not a great haul. But Boston has played some really good baseball. They've got great young players. And until last night, they had owned the Yankees. They had won, I believe, 8 in a row against New York. And there are a couple of games, I think one or a game and a half ahead in the wild card race. How do you forecast New York and Boston?
So I was raised right to not like the Yankees, being a Cubs fan, especially, when the boss was there and always bringing over every single free agent or, rental. He would go out and get the rental, the Raul Mondesies of the world, the Gary Sheffields of the world,
Ruben
going
Sierra.
and getting Giambi. Ruben Sierra. But so like my dad would always hate because the Cubs let Maddox walk and he went to Atlanta, right? And so the boss would always go and spend money and bring him in, which, you think about it in hindsight, as a fan of the Yankees, you have to be grateful that your boss does everything he can to win. He doesn't care. He wants to win. I think that's a wonderful thing for our game. I think it's good to have an evil empire to shoot for. But you have to really respect the fact that he was willing to do whatever it took to make sure his roster was as good as possible for October every year. Okay. So I think Roman Anthony is one of the great players in the making. They have probably my favorite nickname. They have the password now in Boston.
Yes.
Is his name, and he's good, really good. Him and the young guy in Tampa, what's his name? Candelario. I can't think of his name. He is freaking really good. He's going to hit 40 home runs a year. It'll be interesting to see if he can beat Longo's home runs totals that he was able to amass in Tampa for as many years as he did. But he's really, really good. And like, those are some of the best players that are up and coming right now. So I think Boston is doing a good job of being in a position to challenge the Yankees all the time. They don't really care. I really like Fried. Of course, Judge is one of the best players in the world. But the Yankees need to address shortstop in a hurry. That's getting out of hand, and they're going to have to do something pretty quick and decide what the heck they're going to do. I think they've seen enough already to know what they have, and they're going to have to make a determination if they can find something that's more of an improvement, especially after Jeter left. That's a pretty big shoes to fill, no doubt. I don't care who you are. But they need to do something in a hurry. So I like the Red Sox long term. This year, the Yankees are still too much. They're going to get healthy and they're going to be fine. The Blue Jays have been really surprising. The Orioles have been surprisingly bad and disappointing. How much that with expectations there, and it doesn't seem like the GM has the chutzpah, whatever you want to call it, to go and actually try to improve the roster when you had the opportunity to do so. So they're going to have to make a transition from collecting talent to assembling talent to be able to win in October, and they haven't really made that step yet.
You talked about Yankee shortstop Anthony Volpe has been like this is the new guy, not the next Jeter, because that's unfair to everybody, but he has been disappointing this year. Jose Caballero is somebody they just acquired via trade. He played last night, and Aaron Boone had kind of raved about him, but also late in the game, they brought Volpe in. He went to short, and Caballero went out into right field. It is interesting to see this player transition in these teams. And now we get to something I wanted to ask, two things I wanted to ask you about that don't necessarily have anything to do with the sport itself, the game as we play them. We've got the prospect of expansion. And Raleigh is one of those teams that has been mentioned as a potential location for an expansion franchise. My guess is one goes in the West and one goes somewhere in the East, probably the Southeast. Raleigh could be it, but I can't imagine it's not going to be Nashville. What's your take on whether or not baseball should expand or will expand? What odds do you give Raleigh of being one of those cities?
Look, I mean, I'm very much biased, right? Because I think that the ideal stadium location would be kind of catty corner to Lenovo right now, where the Hurricanes are, and the vision for recreating the Battery in Atlanta would work here. It would be fine if they could put it right there next to, right there off Edwards Mill. Would make so much sense, Adam. It would be right there, and you could have walkways and so on and so forth. It could be beautiful. It could be perfect, okay? And I live around the corner, so I'm very biased. So I think it would make so much sense to do that. The Bulls could be the AAA team. It could be really similar to the Braves because Gwinnett Braves are right there, and then the Major League team is there. There was a really good economist put out some interesting numbers on how much better the Raleigh market is than Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's necessarily as relevant because I think they're competing more so with Nashville, which already has almost signed, sealed, delivered team, if you will, Adam. I'm not saying it's done, but it feels like Nashville is all but done in terms of being the next team for expansion. And then you're right, it seems like they want to have a Western team, whether it be Salt Lake or Portland, for realignment. So the realignment thing is coming into view more so because of TV. So if you can pull people in to watch, the Salt Lake, whomever, Bees is what they're called now in AAA, but whoever that team ends up being, you can start to pull in viewership from Montana and wherever else, Wyoming. I know there's not very many people that live there, but you can start to create a more regional network. And I think that's what they're targeting is these dollars in TV deals, Adam. So unfortunately for us, as much as I would love to have the team in Raleigh, and I think it would make so much sense, and it would be really beneficial for me be able to take my family to a Major League Baseball team, game here, a couple minutes from the house. It would make so much sense to do that. I think we're kind of really sledding uphill. I appreciate what they're trying to do, and I'm happy to help any way that I possibly can. But it seems like it's going to be Nashville, Salt Lake, or Portland just for realignment purposes. But of course, I would do everything I can to politic to try and get a team here in Raleigh.
I do think that Raleigh might be a candidate for a relocation if, because they have a lot of things to sort out in Tampa. If that ended up being a case where they had to leave that city, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that will happen. I think they're more of they're more of a candidate for a relo than I think they are an expansion team. Well, real quick, why Major League Baseball and the NFL is the same way, by the way, where we don't have East and West. We have East and West within conferences, or in the Major League Baseball within the league, National League and the American League. The NHL and the NBA do Eastern and Western Conference. Why couldn't we have something like that in Major League Baseball? Be gooder? Wow. Be better for travel purposes. Why wouldn't we go that route?
So the travel thing, just so you know, Adam, is like if you have a laundry list of 50 things that you're looking for, the supposed easier travel for players is towards the bottom end of that totem pole, okay? They really don't care about players. As soon as I hear anything relative to players or player safety, I automatically know that there's something that has to do with money that benefits Major League Baseball first and second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth, and then player safety is somewhere on the bottom there, because the players are so replaceable at this point. If you guys go to a Durham Bulls game, you'll see 10 big leaguers at any given moment, probably, or maybe more. That's how good the guys in AAA are today. They're very much replaceable and interchangeable from your Major League Baseball player that you think is really, really good. There are a bunch of them that are just as good in AAA waiting, and sometimes better. Because what they're doing now is they're actually holding guys in AAA, negotiating with them to get them to agree to a deal that's team friendly before they call them up, kind of similar to what they did with Roman Anthony. You can't tell me that one day they woke up and they were like, oh, this guy's now worthy of 130 million. I doubt that was the case. He's been good for a while, Adam.
Right.
So I think the realignment thing is interesting, but underneath the surface, what they're trying to do is renegotiate a lot of these deals. And they're trying to say, look, we can get these TV opportunities in X amount more households who will tune in, and that correlates to X amount of dollars. That's really what they're doing behind the scenes.
Elliott Johnson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, final thing, and I know you and I are going to talk more as we get closer to the end of the season anyway, so we'll get more into the teams and the teams that you think are going to be there at the very end. But there's been a push, and we saw it, I believe, in the All-Star game for automated strike zones. I've already had my piece about this. I am against, like a robot, the radar gun lasers telling me what's a strike and what's not a strike. How do you feel as a player, as somebody who stood in there and owned Max Scherzer, but when you stood in there, your thoughts on the laser beams telling you what's a strike and what's not?
Okay. I like the human element to our game, Adam. Okay. What I don't like is the bureaucracy of, keeping mediocre umpires up there when we
Thank
know
you.
we can get better umpires up there. Like, what are we doing? So, I don't care how old you are, and I don't care anything else. We have our first female umpire. If all of our umpires are women, Adam, nobody cares. Just be good at your job.
Right.
If they're 95% success rate at calling balls and strikes, let's get them. Who cares where they're from? Who cares what language they speak? It doesn't matter. Bring them in. All merit based. If you're really, really good at your job, we want you. We want you in our game because a good umpire is like it's you don't really notice that they're there, Adam, because you're just tuning in to watch the baseball game at hand. So they exist. The bureaucracy needs to be broken up, and I don't know what goes on with the umpires union and all that sort of stuff. That's probably what's holding things up. But Manfred could create a different way, and I think maybe this is the way that he's driving that wedge into the umpires union. But in reality, they do have umpires that sometimes call. I think DJ Rayburn called 100% game earlier this year, Adam. Maybe he just calls 100% of his games. Maybe that's just what we do, is we just keep him behind the dish. And because he's the best rated umpire, let's leave him behind the dish,
Right.
and pitchers can complain, but the rules are throw it over the plate and you follow the rules just like everybody else. I get a little upset when, we get some of these umpires like Phil Cuzzy, who claims that he knows the rules better than everyone else, and he's going to call it 6 inches below your knee today just because that's how he feels today. That's a joke. The rules are from your belly button to your knee, and it's got to go over the plate, and this acceptable crap has got to go to the wayside. So it's likely that they're doing this as a means to kind of create a wedge with the umpires union, but bring in the best. Remove the guys that aren't any good, or girls, and bring in the ones that are actually really good at their job, and you can quantify it. I know this because they do it, and we did it when we were playing too, Adam.
Right.
You can see the guys that are good and the ones that aren't, remove the bad ones and keep the good ones. It's just like the players. I don't see why it needs to be any different for the umpires.
They keep stats on all these things. Like, we all follow different umpire auditors, whatever they are, and they give you stats. And I don't even think it's 95%. We're 95% accurate because we're talking about maybe 20 to 30 borderline pitches a game. What is your accuracy level on those? Can you be 75% accurate on those? And then your numbers for over the course of a game, and a 300-pitch game, would probably be 98% because there aren't that many calls that are just below or just inside or outside. To me, that's it. And we should keep stats on that. And what you just said is something I said a couple of weeks ago. Like, if you're good at home plate, you should always ump home plate. I don't want to waste you at third base. Just ump the plate. And this way, like Laz Diaz can still have a job.
Well, and think about it this way: if you call 100% game, maybe he gets a bonus for calling 100% game. I don't care. Let it be merit based. Pay him more. We need more guys like that behind the plate. Because here's the problem. I'll give you your Mets guys a shout out. A Garner native,
Nolan McClain.
He throws the best spin rate breaking ball in the show. So you start teaching him to throw 3,000 plus spin at the bottom of the zone, and it clips the bottom of the zone. Otherwise, even if it's a strike, you have catchers that are blocking strikes, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that in our game. We really don't. Because what will happen is you start teaching all your guys spin rate breaking ball, throw it at the bottom, clip the bottom of the zone. Now we have guys, and our game turns into glorified cricket versus baseball, and I don't think we want that.
Although I do fancy a good cricket match. Elliott Johnson, the man. I appreciate your time, sir. We'll talk to you again very soon.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Elliott Johnson here on the Adam Gold Show. Pitching is art. It's art. Deception. I'm all about fooling even the umpires. We just need better umpires. All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll rewind, but I will tell you this. I was stunned to see Serena Williams somewhere yesterday. Couldn't believe it. I'll tell you where it was next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Turning 65 soon? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You know what tomorrow is, right? Yeah, I know. It's Tuesday, but it's better than Tuesday. It's FanDuel Futures Day. That's right. 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. You may like somebody to win the MVP, have at it, win a division, but let's go for all of it. Let's go for broke. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Cowboys fans, your odds are worse than the Cardinals and the Bears. That tells you the state of your franchise. Sorry about that. Plus 4,500 if you are interested. So mark your calendars for tomorrow. You shouldn't need to do that, but it's tomorrow. FanDuel Futures Day. Go to the app and have at it. FanDuel. Play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This is Adam Gold.
We're going to have Seth on the show next week when he gets back from vacation. He was by a pool. What are you doing? Get off Twitter.
It's nicer to be on Twitter when you're by a pool anyway.
No, just stop. Stop engaging with people.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. You and I are going to have a quick conversation here about what Keegan Bradley's going to do on Wednesday, what he will announce on Wednesday at 11. Before we get to that, we will also do a rewind. You'll hear from Tony Haynes, who joined us earlier to talk about NC State. you had mentioned you're a big tennis fan, especially Grand Slam tennis, as am I. Have loved Serena Williams for the better part of 2 decades. I don't know, maybe because I've been a Serena Williams fan since she showed up back in the late 90s. I was not a Maria Sharapova fan. She's a 5-time Grand Slam champion, Maria Sharapova. One of the best of her generation. She was inducted, or she was elected to the Tennis Hall of Fame, and their ceremonies were this weekend in Newport. And this is something I did not expect, because my understanding was Sharapova, Serena, didn't like each other, didn't vibe. Who comes out of the International Tennis Hall of Fame to present Maria Sharapova for induction? You guessed it, Serena.
All right. Surprise. I know I'm probably the last person you would be expecting to see here tonight, but honestly, a few years ago, I probably would have said the same thing. But here's how it happened. A few months ago, Maria texted me that she needed to talk. And so I thought, uh-oh, what's going in? What's going down? Like, where do I need to jump in? What do I need to do, right? But when I called her, she asked me if I would introduce her into the Hall of Fame. And before she even finished her question, I said yes, loud, immediately, with my whole chest, because, of course, it's Maria. I was honored. Now, let's be real. Maria and I were once the fiercest of rivals. We had our differences. To the world, we looked miles and miles apart. But the truth is, we weren't. We wanted the exact same thing at the exact same time, to be the very best. In our sport, only one person can walk away with the trophy. And what's really wrong with wanting to be your best? Nothing. In fact, it's what drove us. That's what made our rival so electric and so iconic.
I was blown away. Never in a million years thought that Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova got each other. But shows you what we know as fans who are outside the game. So that was just absolutely awesome. I was still Team Serena. Never rooted for Maria Sharapova, even once. All right, one more thing, and then we'll rewind. Congratulations to Tommy Fleetwood. Won his first PGA Tour event yesterday. Won the Tour Championship. Was he the champion of the PGA Tour? I mean, Scottie Scheffler won 5 times this year. He's on a string of 14 straight top 8 finishes. He's got 22 consecutive rounds in the 60s. Excuse you?
I mean, look, he still gets to be Player of the Year. Tommy gets to the FedEx Cup. Scotty, I think he'll be okay.
Oh yeah, no, it's got to be fun. He won two major championships this year. Won the PGA and the Open Championship. So yeah, all respect to Scottie Scheffler, who is above and way better than everybody else at this point in time. So Fleetwood wins. It's like the 3rd or 4th time recently that Fleetwood should have gone. He probably should have won that one, whether it was Travelers, whether it was St. Jude's, the first playoff event where he ended up losing to Justin Rose in a playoff. But he's been playing great, so more credit to him. Keegan Bradley finished, I think it was tied for 7th or something like that. Whatever. He was in contention, fell apart late, but no big deal. He was right there all week long. He had the 63 on Saturday to really put himself in contention. But a lot of other guys who are either going to be selected on the Ryder Cup team or are in the mix for that were also in contention. I believe Bradley finished behind Sam Burns, who is going down the, who might be a viable, or is a viable candidate. Not might be, he is a viable candidate for Keegan Bradley. So I've heard this phrase uttered many, many times. And we're going to talk to Bob Herrig of SI tomorrow about this. If there were any other captain not named Keegan Bradley, that Bradley would be on the team, I think that is incorrect. Not would be. He would certainly be a candidate. If I was the captain, if Max was if Jim Furyk, who if Bradley selects himself, will likely assume the role as captain, would Keegan Bradley be an automatic choice to be on the team? Your answer, Max, is what?
Yes.
He would be an automatic choice.
I think he should be in. I think he should play. I think even as captain, he should play.
I don't think you can do both. I think you can't do both to the best of your ability. It's too many things to worry about nowadays as a captain.
I guess that's the nowadays qualifier is important because I was going to say, ask Arnold Palmer about that. I'm pretty sure as the last playing captain, they won quite easily.
Well, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Different era of Ryder Cup.
Keegan, I mean, it's good that he's guaranteed to be involved just because of what we saw last time with him being excluded. Kind of the pride and motivation was not necessarily there. I mean, we had everything with the Patrick Cantlay hat drama and everything last time, but I don't know. I think they could rally around him whether he's playing or whether he's not, but I think he should be playing because I think he is one of the 12 best American golfers right now.
He might be better than some of the players that we assume are locks, right? Right now, he might be better than Colin Morikawa. He's certainly playing today better than Morikawa is playing. He might even be playing better today than Justin Thomas is playing. Thomas is a lock for the team. He's the best modern Ryder Cupper, U.S. Ryder Cupper. Patrick Cantlay has the partnership with Xander Schauffele, who, by the way, has not had a great year, but he's automatically qualified. Cantlay's going to be on the team. Those three guys are, I mean, you could leave Morikawa off. It wouldn't be completely unprecedented to have a player of his ilk left off the team. Of course, he was 8th in points, which means it'd be tough to leave him off. So if you wanted to say Bradley over a Ben Griffin who won twice this year, I could see that. Bradley over Cam Young, they each won one time this year. I could see that. But what I think is that he's not an automatic, that he is definitely a viable, strong candidate. But I think there are a lot of guys like that. I think Sam Burns is like that. I think Chris Gotterup is like that. Long, I mean seriously long off the tee. Not that Bradley is short, but he's not one of those guys.
Yeah, he's not one of the longer hitters available.
At Bethpage, because the fairways are generous, you can bomb it.
And with it being a home soil for America, too, they will set it up to be...
Oh, it's going to be generous off the tee.
Thick rough out there, too.
They might not, because they want the U.S.
because they want to be able to bomb and gouge it, too.
Bryson DeChambeau is going to be trying to hit at 380. So here's the thing. Bradley's got a lot of familiarity about that course. There's a lot of things pointing in the direction of Keegan Bradley to be on the Ryder Cup team. But my point is that he's not an automatic selection. I'm not talking about making on points. He's not one of the JTs or Cantlays or, to a lesser extent, Morikawas. That he is in the mix. And now I get to this. There's a reason that they named him the captain, right? They felt like he would be an inspiring person to lead the team. And while I don't think he would be a bad choice by any stretch of the imagination, if I'm Keegan Bradley, how can I have my greatest impact in this competition? And to me, it ain't by playing 3 matches. It's by being the captain. And to me, it would be more inspiring for him as a captain than it would be for him to be technically the captain, but really ceding it to the quite uninspiring Jim Furyk. And then going out and playing 3 matches, because that's all he's going to play. I would much rather have Keegan as the captain, the emotional leader, not to mention the sacrifice he shows. Because again, is he one of the 12 best? Yeah, given the day, yes. But you can make cases for a lot of players, including Sam Burns, who I know, Scotty Scheffler's, BFF, whatever.
buddies with him.
Don't care. But he is also the best putter on tour. Keegan Bradley, not quite the best putter on tour, to put it mildly. Still, it ain't all about that. It's about a lot of things. Bradley's had a great year and is deserving of a spot, but it's not automatic.
Honestly, I think there's a larger conversation to be had about how the points are accrued, because to me, it does not make any sense that Harris English is an automatic qualifier. I know he finished second in a couple of majors.
He's had a great English had a great summer. To me, it's more like, I don't care what you did last year.
Yeah.
It's more egregious that Xander Schauffele is an automatic qualifier. He did win 2 majors last year.
Yeah, the first half of this year for him was pretty rough.
Even the second half of the year, he really wasn't great.
Not exceptional.
So, was he playing this week?
No, I don't think so.
No!
I don't even think he made top 30.
He wasn't playing this week. So, we have to, would he have been selected anyway? Yes.
But I'm saying the same thing. Would Harris English be selected if he were not an automatic qualifier? I don't think that's a guarantee either.
No, I don't think it's a guarantee, but I think English would have gone into the same mix as Bradley and all these other guys we're talking about. So, yes, I agree. You by the way, know who's responsible for the way we tabulate points? For the most part, Paul Azinger. You used to accumulate points in a Ryder Cup simply by top 10 finishes. Now it's done by money. So if you finish 40th, you get something. Whereas it used to be only top 10 finishes earned you Ryder Cup points. I'm not saying that way is better or than this way, but I'd rather see guys, because otherwise, you could penalize somebody for finishing 11th every week, and that guy's probably one of the best players in the world, but there has to be a happy medium. But Paul Azinger was responsible for that. Switching it to money. Honestly, they should just go by world rankings points. No offense to the people who play live who don't have world rankings points. Tyrrell Hatton, John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, all playing in the Ryder Cup. All right, tomorrow on the program, football, and we get ready for week 1. Max, thank you, my friend. See you.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff.